What starts as a question about a possible intoxicated driver quickly turns into a serious test of the officer's memory. Watch closely, because the answers are about to start changing.
If it is a custodial investigation, you could search the vehicle if you have PC to do so or consent.
Right, okay. And you also, since you had Mr. Crawford there and you believed that he was intoxicated based on his parking the car, wouldn't that be enough to start the investigation, the custodial investigation on his intoxication?
I suppose it wasn't.
I don't know what you mean by you suppose it wasn't.
I mean, I guess you're saying wouldn't that be enough? But at that moment in that evening, based on the information available to me and available to Officer Sims, we didn't feel at that time that there was enough for DWI investigation. And if we had felt that way, then that's the direction we would have went.
Okay, but you know that you just testified under oath before the jury in this court that you believed him to be intoxicated based on the way that he was driving in the parking lot backwards, pulling into the parking spot. So now you're saying that that's not the case?
Am I allowed to have the court reporter say what I said in response to that question?
This is where the attorney catches an important difference. The officer first sounded certain, but now he's trying to clarify exactly what he believed that night.
Yeah, sure.
I'll read it back for you. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. Question. And you also, since you had Mr. Crawford there and you believed that he was intoxicated based on his parking, wouldn't that be enough to start the investigation, the custodial investigation on his intoxication? Answer, I suppose it wasn't. I don't know what you mean.
I meant further back. I'm sorry, because you said that I believed he was intoxicated.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe what I said was noticing things that he was displaying that meant that he may be intoxicated, or I said it was possible.
Okay, I can clarify that. So, or we can clarify that. Your testimony is, no matter what it was before, is that you didn't believe that he was intoxicated. You believe that he could have been intoxicated, correct?
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Is that the clarification you're looking for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now pay close attention. The attorney has narrowed the answer down, and the next questions are going to test whether the officer actually followed up on those suspicions.
All right. And how do you investigate a person who you believe could be intoxicated?
Again, that'll depend case to case, but SFSTs are often employed. I believe, SFSTs are usually used.
Mm-hmm. And you chose not to do that, correct? Not to engage?
Yes, ma'am, that's right.
Okay. So there was you chose not to use a field sobriety test to investigate his intoxication or whether he was intoxicated or not. But you thought that searching his vehicle would help you determine whether he was intoxicated or not, correct?
It is one of the factors, yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what you learned in your training, that one of the factors is to search a vehicle of a person that you believe is intoxicated?
Yes, ma'am. At that point, I'm looking for any evidence that would point to what substance, if any, is causing the reactions that we were seeing at the time.
That answer opens the door to an even bigger question. If he was looking for signs of intoxication, what exactly did he observe?
Okay, let's talk about that. What reactions were you seeing at the time?
So I'd say there was kind of I'm struggling to remember the terms, but essentially that he's kind of high and low in his emotions were kind of high and then kind of low. Also, his response to our questions, as I recall, was kind of non sequitur in that we'd be asking where he's coming from. He'd tell us that he has his driver's license, or he'd say, does he have a driver's license? And then he'd say where he is from. And basically just that things didn't seem like every other interaction that I'd had with people at night on traffic stops where there was nothing going on.
Okay. And so, is there anything else?
Is there anything else that I noticed when talking to Mr. Crawford?
Right. I asked about what reactions you were seeing at the time. Is there anything else that made you feel that he could possibly be intoxicated?
I don't really remember anything else.
Okay. You said that his emotions were high and low. What emotions did he display that you considered to be, or what emotions are we talking about here?
Yeah. Again, there's a word that I'm struggling for to try and explain that more clearly. I guess it is affect again, just that, maybe you're more animated in your responses and then suddenly you're a little more lethargic in your responses. That kind of quick change in what would otherwise be kind of a steady conversational tone can sometimes be an indicator of narcotics use.
And so you believe that that he may have been, maybe his effect was more of what you were describing, and he was animated?
What do you think? Were these observations enough to suspect intoxication, or was the officer relying too much on assumptions?
Objection form.
He, like I said, again, when I say animated, I mean maybe more energetic in your responses. If all of a sudden I'm talking like this, and then all of a sudden I'm talking like this, that's the only way I can try and accurately convey what I mean to you.
Okay. And tell me about lethargic. What did you mean when you said not he, you didn't say Mr. Crawford was, but I just want to be clear. If you do mean to say that Mr. Crawford his emotion was a lethargic, what do you mean by lethargic?
Yes, ma'am. When I say he, I mean Mr. Crawford, and I'm saying that some of his responses were more energetic than others. So maybe the lethargic ones were the less of those two options.
Mm-hmm. And you said he had non sequitur responses. Tell us about that. What makes you believe what particular response did not go with what you were seeking?
Like I said, without watching the body camera video, clearly these aren't quotes, but I remember that we were asking him for his driver's license, and he would respond with something like where he's coming from or where he was from. And then at other times, we're asking where he's coming from or where he's going and getting different responses than those that you would normally find from those questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So all of these combined make you believe that he could be possibly intoxicated, right?
So the officer is saying several small details added up to a suspicion. But notice what the attorney does next. She goes straight back to what happened during the search.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So let's get back to that encounter. So you thought that Mr. Crawford could possibly be intoxicated, and so you didn't ask him to search his car, though initially, did you?
Like I said, it initially being the first words out of my mouth, I don't know what the first words out of my mouth were.
Okay. All right. So continue to walk us through. You were there. We weren't. So continue to walk us through about what happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, I started searching the vehicle after we got consent from Mr. Crawford. Teddy continued talking to Mr. Crawford there by the driver's side of the vehicle. And I got to the trunk and found next to the spare tire, there was like a large grocery sack plastic bag that had something in it, but I couldn't tell. It was dark there. So I brought it around to the front passenger seat. And I put my flashlight under my arm so that it would shine on whatever it was. I dumped it out on that front passenger seat and noticed that it was tied up smaller pieces of plastic, like grocery bag, that had pills inside of them. And at that time, I signaled like this for Officer Sims to go ahead and detain Mr. Crawford because I'd found something that needed further investigation.
You were showing us the signal. Can you show me that signal once more that you gave, Mr.
Yes,
Sims?
ma'am. Just cross my wrists like that.
Okay. And was there anything in your hand when you crossed your wrist?
I don't think so. Maybe my flashlight if I had anything.
Okay. And do you usually communicate with gestures with police officers or with your fellow officers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me about these signals? You said that you crossed your wrists together,
Hmm.
and that is the signal to indicate what?
I was trying to communicate to him to detain Mr. Crawford because I had found something that would warrant further investigation.
Okay. And where did you learn that signal?
Probably one of my field trainers.
One of your field trainers taught you to cross your wrists, and that means, I'm sorry, I just want to be clear, it means that you found something that may warrant further investigation.
I mean, I'm telling you what I was trying to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
not what that signal means. It's not a
Okay, I'm sorry.
universal police signal.
If you're following this testimony closely, hit like and stay with us. The questioning is getting deeper, and the next answers explain why that signal mattered.
Okay, and that's what I'm trying to get to make sure that I understand how Sims would have interpreted your signal.
Right.
Have you guys practiced signals before?
No, ma'am.
Is there a manual or anything that Baytown provides you all that shows you the different types of signals you should use?
No, ma'am.
Could that wrist crossing signal that you displayed, could that be interpreted as more than one thing?
Yes.
Why did you choose to signal versus speak and convey what your thoughts were to Sims?
In training, they often talk about how if you're going to arrest someone, occasionally, like if you tell someone, for instance, if they have a warrant, rather than saying you have a warrant for your arrest or whatever, you want to make sure that you and any other officers in the scene are in a position to take the person into custody in case they choose to fight when being told that they're under arrest or when they find out that they're going to be arrested. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to make sure that there wasn't any sudden response to, hey, put him in handcuffs, or hey, go ahead and arrest him, or anything like that.
Okay. And if you could have spoke instead of using a gesture, you would have said, hey, go ahead and arrest him?
That's not what I said, no, ma'am.
I know, I'm asking you. It's a question.
No, ma'am, that's not what I would have said.
Okay. And what would you have said?
I would have said, hey, go ahead and detain him. I found some pills that...
Listen carefully to that explanation. The officer says he wanted Crawford detained because he found pills, but the attorney immediately starts testing what detained actually meant.
I don't know what they are. I need to find out what they are.
Okay. Do you understand what it means? I know we went through all your training. Do you understand what it means when a person is detained?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us what it means when a person is detained?
They're not free to leave.
Okay. Isn't it true that a person can be detained when they don't believe they're free to leave?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay. So you signaled with your arms, with your wrist crossed to Sims, and if you were able to speak, you would have conveyed, hey, let's detain him I want to just make sure I get it right, so we can make sure that the pills were investigated. Is that right?
Yes,
Objection
ma'am.
form.
Okay. Is there a reason why you didn't ask yourself what those pills were?
Objection form.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Again, just wanting to ensure that for instance, if you have an illegal substance with you and are found out, you may choose to fight or run or something like that, and those create dangerous situations for officers and citizens. And so I chose what I believed at the time to be the best option to minimize that.
Okay. And what did Mr. Crawford do to make you believe that he would begin to fight or run based on your encounter with him up to that point?
Uh, like I said, it was simply that I had found something that might be an illegal substance in his vehicle. And it is just a possibility for any human being that when confronted with the possibility of arrest, that they choose to fight or run.
Mhm. And so, but nothing specific to Mr. Crawford, correct?
No, ma'am, other than what I discussed about in the very limited interaction I had with him, that I believed it was possible that he was on some kind of substance.
Okay. And just to be clear, you said that you had a limited interaction with him, but you actually spoke with him much longer, or is at least is equal in time as Sims did. Isn't that true?
I have no idea.
Okay. You had a good conversation with him for a lengthy period of time while Sims went back to his vehicle and sat with the ride-along, correct?
I do not know.
You don't recall that conversation at all?
Other than, no, I don't remember what we talked about other than the things that I mentioned about asking him about his license, where he's coming from, where he's going to. Other than that, no.
Okay. And at no time did you ever ask him, had he had anything to drink, did you?
I do not know.
At no time did you ask him, had he had anything to smoke, did you?
I don't know.
At no time did you ask him if he had taken any type of substances, correct?
I don't remember, and then I should clarify that on my previous answers, if I don't know, I don't remember is more accurate.
Okay. All right. So you don't remember whether you asked him if he had anything to drink, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that's despite the fact that you thought that it was a possibility that he was intoxicated, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That is a tough sequence of answers. He believed intoxication was possible, yet he can't remember whether he asked about drinking, smoking, or other substances.
And you don't remember if you asked him if he had anything to smoke, correct?
Yes.
And that would be with the understanding that you believe that he could be possibly intoxicated, correct?
I'm sorry, that would be with the understanding. What was the question?
The question on whether he had anything to smoke.
Yes, I don't remember.
Okay. All right. And you don't remember whether you asked him about him taking any drugs or any other substances, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Is that something that you learned in your training that you should at least ask?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now you gave Sims the signal, and then what happened after you gave him the signal?
I think Sims then told him to put his hands behind his back or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what was said. But then I noticed they started to struggle.
And now everything escalates. What began with a search has turned into a physical struggle, and the next part is going to focus on exactly how that confrontation unfolded.
Like Mr. Crawford pulled away or maybe tried to push Sims off of him, so I ran around the front of the car to try and help. And kind of as I arrived on the other side of the car, Sims said he was going to take him to the ground, and so he did. And then from there we struggled for a while until we were able to get other officers on scene to get him into custody in handcuffs.
Okay. And when you say we struggled, tell me who the we is.
And myself and Officer Sims, and then at some point, I think Dunlap came out and tried to help as well.
Okay. Based on your training, can you describe Officer Sims to us on that night?
Based on my training, can I describe Officer Sims?
Yes. How would you describe him based on your training as an officer?
Objection form.
He's a white male with brown hair, and he's like, I don't know, maybe 6 foot tall. Kind of kind of a huskier build. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Shane Dunlap, the ride-along?
On that same description, he's a white male, dark, like black hair almost. He's definitely a bigger build, not as tall as Sims maybe, but yeah.
Okay. And when you say bigger build, could we agree he was well over 200 pounds?
Yes.
And I believe Sims testified that he was 260 pounds on that day. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
And what about yourself? How would you describe yourself then on July the 6th, 2019?
Objection form.
I'm 5'8", 175, and I'm pretty much the same size I was at the time.
Okay. So you saw that Sims was having a problem with Mr. Crawford. I think you said something to that effect when you gave him the signal.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Crawford, you say, may have pushed him. Is that right?
Like I said, either he pulled away from him or tried to push to get Sims off of him, and that was just as I'm coming around the front of the car, and I'm running to try and get there quickly and assist. So that's what I saw.
Okay. Now, when you got there to assist, what did you see when you got to where Mr. Crawford and Sims were located?
I saw Mr. Crawford not, doing what you generally would do if you're submitting to arrest, which would be to.
And that's where this section leaves us, with the testimony under intense scrutiny and the details of the struggle still unfolding. The questioning has raised serious questions, and there's more to come.